Yeah? After that, the wind element goes into goes into our consciousness. No. Consciousness. Yeah? It goes into our consciousness. Okay? The wind element goes into, dissolve into our consciousness. The consciousness, like, the eye cognition, the ear cognition, and that all has one ground. It's called, Namkha, that began just consciousness. It is divided, through different senses, so it becomes 8. Yeah. Like we have eye, the eye cognition sees, ear hears, yeah, smell, taste, feel the body, yeah, the sensation. So these all different consciousness are divided based on the different senses, sensations of the physical body. So the consciousness, the mind, okay, the ordinary mind. Now, the wind element dissolves into that mind, that consciousness. Okay? When it happens, number one, very clear sign as an external sign is breathing problem. When the person dies, we have to put oxygen, we have to give oxygen, yeah? Otherwise the patient cannot breathe. Yeah? So the breathing is not normal. Not normal now. So sometimes it's very fast, sometimes very low, and sometimes take out, cannot breathe in. Breathe in, cannot breathe out. The difficulties, That's the sign of our wind energy, the element dissolving into the mind. Then inner experiences, like we feel carried away by, blown away by a huge, what you call as the wind or tornado, yeah, tornado, yeah, hurricane, yeah. Oh, okay. Something like that, yeah. So very strong wind that blows away everything, Sometimes we see this in Discovery channels, yeah. Something like that. We feel, blown away by. We become, we feel like we are a small fly, piece of paper, blown away by big, such a strong, powerful, wind. So this is what we experience as an inner, okay, the second sign. And the third, now when it goes into the mind, the consciousness, the third sign, okay, the Buddha nature, okay, the ultimate ground of mind. Now it comes as torch, light, or maybe you can also say a lamp. Okay, the lamp we light, lamp light we offer here, something like that. It's almost very clear, very clear light. So this is what shines as a third experience. Then this process gets, more subtle, very subtle from the next sort of processes, when the space dissolving into luminosity dissolving into wisdom, wisdom dissolving into unity, and so on, many certain level of dissolving. Dissolutions are processed very, very subtle. So roughly we just talk about the 5 elements that we have. Something not clear to us. Just talking about this is very, again, confusing. So make it like yeah. So then we can just guess through the rest. Okay? Yeah? So when this happened, okay, so what we should do? This is very important now. Let me add some useful, things that we must keep in our mind. Yeah. No. Every moment, like he asks me, when is the time actually we should really be doing something to face that, to solve these problems, yeah, to face these problems, yeah. Starting has to be, even before this starts. That's why we prepare now. That's one thing. The other thing is actualizing that, practically, when this dissolution is, the symptom is there. That's why the practitioners in the past, what they do is they have, another part of Bardo teaching to see the signs when the death coming, to check the sign, You can check through your nerves, you can check through your dreams. There are so many ways of finding out when the death is, possibly coming. That's another part of, Bardo teaching. So, those masters in the past, what they did is, they check the signs. And they can, so that they can be prepared anytime. Oh, that is coming after 1 month. Oh, you should really be something, quick, hurry up, something like that. But for us, it's very difficult to go through all the signs when it is coming, no alarm actually, so very difficult. Why? That's why we should be prepared, in any time. Yeah. It's like keeping our air ticket open. Yeah. So anytime you can confirm it, make it okay. Yeah. Yet to book a ticket, and but to book the ticket, have to prepare the money. And to prepare the money, have to work. And to work the, job, find the job. Yeah? And again in trouble. See, too late already. So that's why we have to be prepared now, in this moment. And when actually there is a symptom, something is really going wrong, then you can be in your practice. You can be prepared with your practice to face that. Okay, this is the dissolution of the body, especially starting with the earth element dissolving into that, something the next. You should not get shocked and don't be scared, fearful. This is what we should remind ourselves. With our understanding of Bardo teaching, with our understanding of the death, with our daily practices, in a different way, that is the time when we actually use when we are scared by somebody suddenly, the first thing in our mouth, comes out of our mouth is some, oh my God, if it is not so scary, and maybe more in a stylish way, oh my gosh, we can say that, it's more relaxed, almost. And They say, Amma, they just, the first word that comes in their mind and mouth is mother. Amma. And for Buddhists maybe, yeah, whatever. We have to be train ourselves until we become, completely confident, relying on the right understanding of Dharma and the practices of the Dharma when you are in trouble. So this is what we should be, how we should be prepared. Like you are shocked that the first thing suddenly, comes in your mind is, oh my God. Something like that, when you are in trouble, the first thing in your mind comes is that, if possible, the best instructions based on your mind, just watch your mind. It's like, I watched the tortoise, turtle. You just let it go, the tortoise, they will enjoy, the legs and the hands and everything, the head. You slightly try to touch, it moves inside. Yeah? So there is no way. Sometimes I watch BBC at this Animal Planet, the tigers, the lion, they even attack elephants, but when they meet actually, the tortoise, hopeless. Because the tortoise, he just goes inside. So this is just like, a stone. Bite cannot. If you really know how to rest in your natural state of mind, like a tortoise, just be inside. You are already safe. Yeah? The best is to rest in your nature of mind. If possible, wow, that's the best thing we can ever do, when these unusual thing happens. Before that, when death is coming, the first thing you look for, you seek for is rest your mind. Not saying, oh my God, and run, yeah? Yeah? Rest in the nature of mind. That's the first thing, what comes in your mind. Yeah? Like 3 days back when I was in Surabaya, one day before I come to Jakarta, I went for, swimming. And in the swimming pool, my friend, Reggie, and we were talking. And I feel, very itchy here. When I look at, it's a big fly, quite big, It's not a mosquito. Quite big. And it was, I think maybe he's drinking, enjoying his meal. But it was very itchy. And looks very scary also. But the first thing what it comes in my mind is don't check like this, Drink yourself into warm water. Slowly you go, the fly, it flew. What is there around you, to protect yourself without harming another? Something like that. We have to be prepared until, it becomes the most priority naturally, to protect ourselves. So resting in the nature of mind is the best protection. Like twice, resting inside that case. Even 1,000 lion comes cannot do anything. Number one is to rest in the nature of mind. That's the best thing that we can ever do. Number two, If we cannot do that, that's very difficult, you know. The most easy thing becomes the most difficult thing for us. The closest thing, you know, becomes the most unseen thing for us, you know. Like, have you ever seen your own eye, what do you call it? With your own eye? Unless you use mirror. Yeah? Because it's too close to the eye. So we have to depend on, you know, something else, so-called mirror. Not like the story I told this morning. Eyelash, very close. That I cannot see. But I can see, you know, the eyes can see almost thousands of miles, you know, distant things. Yeah? That's why the most easy thing becomes the most difficult thing for us. The most closest thing becomes the most far, you know, that things for us. That's why the most easiest thing to rest on the nature mind becomes the most difficult thing for us to actually understand. Yeah? That's why all these different shapes, you know, with color, with different nice decorations and arts, which we rely on. So the best is to rest in the nature of mind. Those deer, you know, no matter how fast they can run, I think the most speed, yeah, they run, but they get killed by leopard and other. So running is also not so good idea, yeah. Even you fly, it's not protect, yeah, not so. But if you really can rest in your own nature, like tortoise, you know, really protect it. That's one very important thing. I just give you the clue, and we'll elaborate it more about this tomorrow. Second thing, then rely on. If we cannot, rest in our state of mind, the natural state of mind, then what we can do is now rely on something that can be, you know, that is reliable, that is trusted, yeah. The Sony company, you know, the things that it is from Sony company, mostly we really trust. This is very good. Yeah. So something that is reliable, and there is nothing more reliable than the enlightened ones. And there is nothing more reliable than the teachings of the enlightenment ones. The Buddha's, you know, teaching. That is the direction. Unless we rely on that, there is no way to free ourselves from all those sufferings. And another reliable thing, ultimately, is the trusted masters who, with out of compassion and wisdom, helps those to walk in the enlightened path shown by Buddha, the enlightened one. These three things are called three jewels, the three ratna, the Kushosum, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Yeah? There is no other thing, you know, that you can actually rely on than these three things. That is for 100% guaranteed. Really, the original Sony company guarantee. Really. When we have a problem in our, let's say we have a stone forming inside. So doctor says, you must take it out, operate. And operation means what? Cut it, get it out. Then if we go to somebody, maybe a tailor, he can cut it with a scissor and can take it out, with something. Doesn't work. We have to rely on doctor. A doctor who is actually qualified in this. Not how the doctor looks, not the certificates that he has, MBBS from this country, from that, and this from that. Many, outside the doctor's room, we can see the list under the name doctor, and then MBBS from that, and this from that, But actually, the doctor has to be, perfect in operation practically. Yeah. You must go to doctor. It's like depending on Buddha, because Buddha only know how to take this from the ignorant, get operated. That's why the Buddha is the only doctor. Dharma is the only medicine. Yeah? And compassionate and skillful masters are the very compassionate, caring, nurses. You understand? Nurse in the hospital, they serve patient, giving injections, painkiller, other, medicines. Help how to take the medicines, carefully. Relying on Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha is something like that. It's not because, we think Buddha is great, and Dharma is because a great. It's not. So they are ultimately very reliable. We will never be deceived, never be cheated. That's why, if something happens, oh my God, you cannot do that when you're resting your mind in the nature of mind, state. So the second thing, something happens, okay, Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. You should rely, the first thing that comes in your mind is Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Your confident devotion in them makes you rely on them when you are in trouble. You see? Yeah? So this is very important. The second thing. So, if you are practicing like deities, based on different enlightened deities, Jainistic practice, Vajrasattva practice, Guru Rinpoche practice, Amitabha practices, and so on, many things. Make that come first in your mind when we are in trouble. This is how, the scale, the level that we have to be trained. When something happens, certainly, yes, we release our mind there. Yeah? This is what we should at least be doing. And number 3, and also relate our mind with the Guru, our own Guru. That's also very helpful. If we cannot do this, very easily, at least we should, if possible, be devoted, compassionate, and confident, If we cannot do that, at least try ourselves not to have any kind of negative things going on in our mind when something happens to us. So the first thing, when we are in trouble, is to rest in our own nature of mind. Second is to remind ourselves, of whatever we are relying on. That should be reliable, We cannot rely on something that is really fragile, that deceives us, Then try to maintain the positivity of the mind, like devotion, compassion, and wisdom, Maintaining these qualities in our mind when we are in trouble, like facing a death, very, very helpful. Unless we cannot do all these, we cannot help ourselves at all. Because the only chance now the mind has is naturally resting in anger. Then exactly in the opposite way, naturally resting in doubt, fear, then anger, then all kind of negative emotions, again. So those becomes our reliable things, That's why at least try to be protected ourselves from those negativities in our mind when we face the problems, especially death. This is very, very important. So when we face the death, this is what we should be doing. This is also called taking practices as support. Then this is also, I think, the greatest blessings that we can ever have, Blessing is this, when it gives you strength, confidence, wisdom to face the problem, to solve that problem, in a very wise way. That's the real blessings. Otherwise, there is no blessings, ultimately saving us, protecting us. Very difficult. Is it clear? So when these situations will happen to us, we should try. So we should be at least try to we should try to practice ourselves, in those different things. Resting in nature of mind is one thing. Rely on your own idam deities. Sri Ratna, the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, including our Guru too. And then maintaining the positivity of the mind, the state of mind, to be at peace at least, not to be disturbed by, overpowered by any negativities. These are the main things. But this is not easy, that when we talk about it, it's very easy, like, it's okay now. I already received the Bardo teaching, and it looks like, there are so many options that I can go for. So even I cannot do resting the mind or rely on Buddha or somebody, because I don't know, and this is really disgusting. I'm so lazy or headache, to go through all that. And I also don't want to be practiced. But one thing I can do is maybe don't get angry. Maintain the positivity. But how? Very difficult. That's why we have to train ourselves with these, maintaining the positivity based on different ways, such as deity practices, such as meditation, compassion, complaint practice, what, so many things we must try. This is one thing. Another thing, when somebody is dying, very helplessly, suffering in hospitals, ICU unit, Then we go, what we do, oh, somebody is sick, it's my friend or somebody I know. What we do? No, we go, dress up nicely so that everybody, because the hospital is where most of the people comes, so I should be very attractive, Put on a nice dress and make it, the hairstyles and the ornaments, something different than those, who comes usually for the then I should also make my greeting flower, slightly different from others. Yeah? Make it maybe $10 or $20 more expensive. Then reach the hospital. There is a fear in our own mind that somebody is dying. It's not because we understand the death, but because we are very scared about death. But unless we go, it's not, it's difficult for us to live in the society. Yeah? So must go, even scary. But still we don't forget, our daily practice. Being attractive, being stylish and something, fashionable. Then go to the patient, okay? And see the patient. Oh, this is really sad. I'm so sorry to know that. It's okay, something nice, And maybe try to shade maybe a few drops of tears, because this is what happens. Usually people do that. And give a bunch of flower and something else. Say, get well soon. Yeah? Get well soon. What does that mean? Is he purposely getting sick? Did he choose to be sick? So that he can actually, purposely get, well. This is what we do. So when you go to see the patients in the hospital, okay, fine, take the flower or whatever, it's good. But the most important thing, when we will be going, visiting the patient, that we should always keep in mind is go with a pure motivation. If you know some practices, you don't have to perform whole sadhana, putting up all the mandalas and everything in the hospital. Yeah? But with such a pure motivation, like, if you know Tonglen practice, you can go. This is not only helpful for the patient who is sick, but this is also a very good chance for us to practice accumulated merit. And that accumulation of merit also goes to the sick. That helps, because the sickness is not all caused by our living or the environment. The sickness is mostly caused by our own karma. Yeah? When we talk about karma, and some people say, this is actually a very Buddhist way of saying karma. Like, I remember in Sikkim, some of the very educated friends, came, and they asked me why there is a past and the future in life, how we know. And I just gave them an example, quoting from a sutra, where Buddha gives an example of an animal, like the baby animal, like say the cow, baby. When it is born, nobody has to teach the baby to, milk, to drink the milk from the mother. Nobody has to teach diet. The baby naturally knows. And that is number one that Buddha says is because they have been mother to each other for many, many lifetimes. because of that tendency, what makes you naturally, look for, seek and get that milk. That's one thing. And this is the indication that, we have been born many lifetimes. Buddha gives this example, and then, my friends, they say, that's really Buddhist way of saying. Why actually the baby can find the milk, very easily? It's not because of karma, what you call this. It's because of the chemical, reaction. As the baby has been a part of the mother. So the mother's, chemical reaction makes the baby, naturally understand that. That's what I say. Then I ask him, what that chemical is actually caused by? Yeah? What that chemical is caused by? To find the milk, not from the horn or the ear, but exactly from the right place. What is that cause to find exactly from, causing, to find the right place, What is that, what is the cause for that chemical? And they say, something different, something to be think about. That's what they say. Okay? That's why it's not really Buddhist way of saying, the karma really works, because of the karma that we get sick, because of the karma that we have so many different ways of, dying. That's why, if you go with very good motivation, I remember after I finished my retreat in Sikkim, I was called by one of my friends in Sikkim. His father received Bardo teaching from me, so he died at the age of 94 also in the hospital. And they called me, please can you, is it possible that you come? Because he's now in last stage. And I cannot come now immediately because, I was just out of the retreat. And I didn't finish the fire puja and everything, that's very important. So I must finish it. So I said, okay, I will come tomorrow evening. And then they said, what should we do if he dies, Because we have already told him that you are coming. And I told him, okay, just recite the mantra of Amitabha, Chirasi, Guru, etc. It's very good in his ear. No matter, when it doesn't seem to be, listening to you, hearing to you, it's okay. In deep down, he's actually hearing, listening to you. It's okay. So you just recite the mantra, and you can tell him, some very important things like don't be attached of anything, or don't be sort of worried about anything. That they will take care of everything. You just give him a commitment, and try to make him very peaceful. Okay. So you express your love, your respect, and everything. A very peaceful way. It's okay. You just do it. That's what I told you. And then they told that he's coming. And actually he was even not opening the eye. But when he told, that I'm coming, because his mind is now really looking for me at that time. Then suddenly, he gets up. Look everywhere, and again goes back in the same condition. The moment they told that I was coming, he suddenly wakes up, looks everywhere. But he didn't see it, he goes back to that state again. Yeah? But fortunately, he didn't die before I come, So by the time I come, he was very, difficult condition. So critical. I just hold his hand, and I did Tonglen practice for about half an hour or something. Then he started, breathing again. He started breathing again. This is what happened, actually. Then I called the doctor and nurse, and they came and they put the oxygen again, They put it again. So he got better after that. Day by day, very good. Then he lived, I think, almost more than 1 month. So after 2 days, I went back to my retreat center, done everything. Then in 2 weeks' time, I went back to Nepal. On the way, I passed by him. He was having pork, nice meal, enjoying back in home. After 1 month something, I left. Then he finally died at home, very peacefully. So go to hospital. Very nice motivation. At least to help. At least to reduce his bad karma, what is causing him this problems. And if you know the mantra, you don't have to chant very loudly. Just sit there with pure motivation. You chant the mantra like medicine Buddha mantra, and you can also give him some sort of moral advices, which is very good for him to be more hopeful and energetic. I think it's good. So this is what we should be doing. And especially when it comes to the case of somebody who's dying almost, and we want to give him the best treatment so that we will not regret anymore. This is another thing very important we should keep in mind. Many people do that, these days. All kinds of artificial support, not letting go naturally, but artificially kill him. This is because we want to see him breathing, not actually we don't actually understand, what kind of experience that he's going through that moment. It's not natural. So whatever, this is a very difficult case for us to decide. We have to ask the doctor. Be honest, We have to ask the doctor, be frank. If there is not really, but doctor has to be very careful with this, If there is no hope at all, that you can help to save him, then I think better not all those things, what you call it, artificial things, I don't know much. This is better not. Because it is, rather than helping, it's disturbing, really torturing, very torturing. So this is what usually happens in the hospitals. But the doctor has to be very careful with this. He say just recently, when I was in Surabaya, I heard a news about Russia. I think Russia. A woman died in the hospital. The doctor declared she cannot be, saved anymore. So they put her in a coffin, brought, back. Did you hear this news on the net? When it was about to bury, then she, was alive. When she saw that she is in the coffin, heart attack, die again. Finally died. So the husband, sued the hospital and the doctor. That's what I heard, That just happened. So that's why we also have to be, very careful with these things. Ask the doctors, be very, very, very careful. Like, this is another thing, And when the person is dying in the hospital, maybe we can request the hospital's administration rather than keeping him there, or maybe something suitable, another place, where there is no noises, no disturbances, this is very important because the death, at the moment of death, what we require is peaceful environment, very, very peaceful environment. That's what Bardo teaching always emphasize. It says, if you are a practitioner and you know about Bardo, make sure when somebody dies, there is no noise going around. Make it as peaceful as possible. That's what Bardo teaching says. It's very important. That's why, with all kinds of artificial things, torturing, in the name of serving treatment, okay? This is not, we understand that it will really, really help, but this is actually to satisfy our own. Yeah? Because, so that I spend, $200,000 US for that treatment. I get the best service. So now I don't regret. Many people say that, So we have to be very careful with these things also. Then the peaceful environment is very, very important. Like many people, they do, surrounded by, whole family members, but Bardo teaching says no. Better not be surrounded by all the people. Because you are making him difficult to say goodbye happily. It's like mother who has just, newborn baby, and she has to go for something, few days. Or a very lovely kids, Then now she's going for a few days, away from the kids. She doesn't actually want, left the kids behind. And the moment she says goodbye to the kids, the children also cry, I want to go, follow, cry. Then this makes the mother cry more. So even though she is flying in, the business class, flight to somewhere, her mind is not that peaceful. She is now so worried about the kids. Because the more worried about the kid at this moment is because, the departing situation, the moment was so hard to say goodbye. So still she's flying, thousands of meters in the sky. The mind is still there for the kids. Even nice facility in the business class, she doesn't enjoy. And wherever she has to go, be for maybe 1 day or 2 days, she feels like, being there for a month or a year long. So when this time finishes, I must go back. It causes a lot, mentally. See, she knows, yes, definitely she will go back to the home and see the kids again. And the kids are also in very safe environment. They have no problem. They have people, to look after them. But still, mother's mind is like that, so worried about. This is what happens to the dying people. When we are surrounded by, and many says, don't go, don't leave us, please, don't die. They hold and cry. This makes the dying person very difficult to say goodbye. Because his attachment is, very strong there. And not only that, he's actually getting away from everything. He's losing everything. Imagine, let's say a president maybe, of the country dying. He's not only, losing his president post, the rank, presidentship, which most of the people struggle a lot to reach that position. Position, power, facility, and his, friends, and his property, his fame, everything is now, left behind. What need to say about even the most dearest, the dearest body of the president, he will leave behind. This is the situation which, when people, losing a job for maybe 1 or 2 months, goes crazy. Last year, maybe you heard of, the Philippine, bus case. Some Hong Kong people, a group of them were, shot in the bus, attacked by policemen. Did you hear this?
Yes.
And later I read it in newspaper. His reason is because his job, he lost his job. Maybe he was dismissed or something. So he was very, very angry to teach a lesson, to the government. He did that, hijack a bus and kill everybody. This is what happened. See, simply losing one job makes people go that, crazy. Think of the moment, when we die. Losing everything. It's a very sad situation, At that moment, so we should not be causing any more problems to him, by making him more attached to things, which in any way he has to leave behind. There's no way that we can help actually him, to go with something. Really cannot. That's why it's not, Bardo teaching always advises not, to cry around. This is another thing that we must keep in our mind. Yeah? And another thing, if the doctor says, yes, we really can't help, he must die, then we have to be honest to the patient. This is very important. This is what also Bardo teaching encourages us. Like, we don't tell the truth to the patient. We keep the secret. Or if we say what doctor said, then he will get very shocked and not happy, So better don't tell him he will live. He will not die. Yeah? So this is also in a very nice way, or a stupid way, deceiving him. Deceiving the dying person. Because this gives him, hope. Oh, I will not die, because doctor said there is a hope. If he is a kind of practitioner, Dharma practitioner, then we make him lose the chance to be prepared according to his own practice. You see? So we become the cause to lose, his chances to be prepared. You understand? So that's why we must tell the truth. But not, of course, in a very, rude way. There's good news, The doctor said such a mind-blowing, Yeah, surprise that you died. So nice, huh? Not this way, huh? Tell him in a very nice way. Yeah. Now there is a thing that I must tell you. Explain, I think, changes, impermanent. Explaining, somebody's death, all knows. Explaining many stories that he also knows, like this people died, that also happened, So in this way, that after all, we all have to die. So we try our best, but still we are trying. But what doctor said is there is no hope. So better what you know about practice or anything, just try to prepare. And we will also take care of, everything in whatever way we can help you in the preparation. And don't worry about anything, your family or property or anything. We will take care here. Yeah. We must tell him, give him a commitment, and ask him to maintain the positivity, a mind at very peaceful state. Maybe at that moment he will be shocked, but slowly he will understand you. At least he has a chance. Okay, Muhammad said, accept it. I cannot deny the fact. I must accept. So I must prepare. At least by maintaining the state of mind at peace.
But how to treat the coma?
If the infant baby, just born baby, if the mother explains, okay baby, when you hungry, you just tell me, give me a call. Cannot, And what you do is just express through your action, mentally, from the bottom of your heart, physically, very dedicated. You just mother's being there, stops child's cry. Something like that. When somebody is in coma, actually he's met in the subtle level of mind, is quite, okay, not so really, hopeless situation. So what you tell, you can hear. So we don't have to talk like, trying to talk to a baby. You must eat something, okay, when you are hungry. I don't have the time to come and feed you. You cannot say that. So that's why when somebody is dying or in a coma, you can just express, hold the hand with your very good motivation, slowly, gently massage, and you are expressing something. This will really, really help. You don't have to say something, Okay. This I think really helps. And other things like Bardo teaching advises us. When somebody is dying, ask a very good practitioner, if possible, very good master, come and do Bardo instructions. This is what we do in our videos now for quite a long time. When somebody is dying, so we, for the dying person, we ask him, okay, maintain your devotion. Don't be scared. Now this is the time. The symptom, according to the symptom we explained. This is what is happening to you. Actually, you are not being drawn or carried away or being burned. Nothing is happening. This is all your delusion, the perception, because of the defunctions, the integration of your elemental balance of the physical body. So that's why you should just maintain the positivity, the devotion, the compassion, and this kind of sign will also be seen. This is nothing to be scared about. This is actually the nature of your mind. So you just try to understand it. You try to accept it, rather than being scared or fearful and being shocked. So this is how we actually explain the dying person. Person master sits beside, and then he recites the Bardo teaching, and he can also tell him, in his ear, that there is a tradition we do this. That's also. This is another thing that we can help. So when somebody is dying, you can also do good practitioners sit around, do Tonglen practice, and try to maintain sort of devotions, through your motivation. Like we do healing, Reiki, we do the Reiki, You actually don't touch at all with your hand, Maybe very gentle, only sometime. What you do is with your motivation and concentration, you use some kind of aura or something, to heal somebody, something like that. Then you can just sit, beside reading the Bardo teachings, and giving him the core practices, reminding him if he is a practitioner, reminding him of what he should be doing now. Because when these death processes come in, then really first we really get shocked and we get lost almost control. So it's really a difficult situation, but still, if our practice is very good, I think it's not so problematic. Okay, so for the coma people, those who are in coma, this also I think very helpful. Practice, remind him, say some very important recitation, prayers in his ear. This also works, because the prayers is not something that you simply say from your mouth, but that is really something the word of truth, the words of truth, which also helps. That has a strength. Helps, This is what we can do. And so telling the truth is also very important. Yeah? And being very careful with the treatment is also very important. And being, very careful with our habits, the attitude, that we show around the dying person, very important. Even when we visit the patient, must go with something very positive. If we go with pride